Chapter 57, Kaylee. Are you ready for your big date tonight? Carter asked as we leave school on Friday. I'm dropping him and Sarah off at his apartment before going home to get ready for the night. Yes, it's a date. It's not a big deal. Yeah, but it's your first official date with Oliver, Carter unhelpfully points out. Honestly, I'm a bit nervous about tonight, but as I've barely admitted that to myself, there's no way I'd tell anyone else. If Carter knew, I'd never hear the end of it. The last 2 weeks have been nice. Oliver clearly has no qualms about being seen with me in public, which is a nice change of pace. He's been at every band practice we've had, so James has somewhat behaved. James is still getting into my space every chance he gets, but he watches what he says in front of Oliver. I blocked James' number so he can't text or call me anymore. We've gone on a date before, I point out, and refocus on the conversation at hand. Yeah, but this one is planned, and you said yes. We didn't have to make ourselves scarce, so you'd have to spend time alone with him, Sarah says. Okay, so this is different from the last date. That doesn't make it a big deal. It so does. But if you don't want to talk about it, I'll leave it alone. For now. Carter smiles evilly. We can totally drop it, but I want all the details afterwards, especially since you still haven't given us the details of your first date, Sarah adds. What details? I throw my hands up. We talked. We ate pizza. I had a nice time and he drove me home. Those are the details. Those are not the details. You aren't sharing the details. Like, is Oliver a good kisser? Sarah asks. Carter raises his hand. I'd like it to be known that I have no interest in hearing about how Oliver kisses. I scoff. Why do you assume I'd know how he kisses? And regardless, I'm not telling you those kind of details about anyone ever. Are you saying you haven't kissed him yet? Sarah's eyes widen in disbelief. But you've been dating for 2 weeks. How have you not kissed yet? If I dated someone like Oliver, I'd want to kiss him all the time. Thanks for the overshare, Sarah, Carter says sarcastically. He turns to me. But Kaylee, you haven't kissed Oliver? Firstly, Sarah, that whole tirade is exactly why I'm worried about you dating. Secondly, we aren't dating. Thirdly, I thought you already said you didn't want those details, Carter. What do you mean you aren't dating? He walks you to class, you sit together in class, you eat lunch together, he comes and watches your band practice. If that's not dating, maybe your standards are too high, Sarah says. You're going on dates, you're dating. Carter acts like him saying it makes it a fact. My standards aren't too high. I think a conversation needs to take place between two people where they agree that they're dating before they're actually dating, I defend myself. I'm mostly focusing on the dating thing because I want them distracted from asking about Oliver and me kissing. We've only kissed the one time, and I was mostly trying to distract him so he wouldn't walk me to the door. The more I can keep him away from Mary, the better. I didn't tell them about that kiss then, and I don't want to talk about it now. I know I surprised Oliver at the time, so I've been waiting for him to make the next move in that regard. He hasn't kissed me yet, and I'm not sure why, but I don't want to think about it and definitely don't want to talk about it. Maybe tonight you could bring it up so you're officially dating, Sarah says. We'll see. There's no way I'm starting that conversation, but I don't want to argue about it with Sarah. Thankfully, we're at Carter's and they can't keep badgering me about it. I'm sure we will. Text me when you're home and Drew and I will drop off Sarah. Carter clearly knows I'm not agreeing with Sarah. I'm not a small child, you know, Sarah says petulantly, like a small child. Sure, but Mary has been on a bender this week, and I don't know that either of us should be home alone with her, I point out. Whatever, Sarah gets out of the van. I make sure they make it inside the apartment before heading to the house to get ready for my date. I had offered to drive, but Oliver insisted on driving and picking me up. That was when he told me the date he has planned is a surprise. I've tried to get information out of him this week, but all he has told me is to dress casual and that it'd probably be warm where we were going. I decide to wear my black leather skirt, a blue crop top, and my favorite Doc Martens. As I head out the door, I grab my leather jacket in case I need it. Hey, I take in Oliver's appearance at the door. He's wearing a black tee that clings to his muscles without looking a size too small like James's usually do. He has on dark jeans and a pair of black Vans. Hey, you look beautiful. Oh, you don't look too bad yourself. My face feels warm, and I'm hoping my blush isn't too obvious. Thanks. Are you ready to go? Yeah, you still haven't told me where we're going. Nope. And like I've been saying, you'll find out when we get there. Oliver opens the SUV door for me. I love that Oliver has a tall vehicle I don't have to crawl into. Can I get a hint? Your outfit will blend in even though your beauty stands out. Oliver winks. He holds his phone out. Do you want a DJ? You trust me with your phone? Yeah, I mean, you don't strike me as the type to send a fake text message to stir up drama or sign me up for email lists that are going to harass me until the end of time. I decide to go ahead and take his phone so we can get on the road. Those are two very specific examples, I say when Oliver gets back in on his side of the SUV. The first happened to Grayson when a girl got a hold of his phone without his knowledge. The second is a prank Jet and Grayson pulled on Daniel. So you aren't worried I'll go through your phone while I'm DJing? If you want to, that's up to you. There's nothing interesting on there, and anything that could hint at where we're going has already been deleted. If you're looking for clues as to our destination, you'll be out of luck. Oliver pulls out of the driveway. You aren't worried I'll look through your messages or see that you're talking to another girl? Nope, you're the only girl I'm interested in. The only other girls I text are Lynn and Kaylee, but Lynn's just a friend and Kallie's like my little sister. Oliver shrugs. I'm not going to look through your phone, by the way. That's a major invasion of privacy. I'm not worried about it either way. Oliver gives me a charming smile. It makes me want to swoon, which is ridiculous, so I shake that thought away. The ways Oliver is different from James could fill up a book, from the way he treats me, both in public and in private, to how he treats my friends. I still don't want to jump into a relationship, but I'd rather be with Oliver than James. Not that James was ever an option, but still. I pester Oliver a bit, trying to figure out where we're going, but he doesn't give me any type of hint. I give up, since I'll know soon enough anyway, and look through the songs he has saved on his music library instead. It's mostly rock and metal with a few pop songs in the mix. Based on your phone, you're either into heavier music or very committed to the ruse, I say, slightly teasing him. You can believe what you want, but I'm not even sure why someone would pretend to love music they don't want to listen to. To go to the effort of fabricating evidence of music taste seems extra ridiculous. You look like I'd listen to nothing but top 40s junk? Yeah. I should probably stop assuming things about Oliver because he's an attractive popular jock. So I say instead, since we've left town, I'm assuming we're either going into the Metroplex or you're bringing me to the country to dispose of my body. I'm still not giving you a hint about where we're going, but I promise I've got no intention of letting you out of my sights, much less leaving you in a ditch somewhere. Well, as long as murder isn't on the agenda, I can relax, I say with a touch of sarcasm. We lapse into silence and listen to music for the rest of the half-hour drive. Oliver finds a parking space downtown next to a bar called the Ginger Man. So, how far are we walking to our destination, I ask. We're here. What? You're taking me to a bar? I don't have a fake ID. I couldn't get in if I wanted to. I didn't expect this from one of Lynn's friends, who goes to church each week. Oliver seems like such a rule follower. You don't need one to get in, and even if you had one, you still wouldn't be able to drink here. Oliver gets out and comes to open my car door for me. They let minors into their bar? Is that even legal? Not any minors, but I know the owner. The flip side of that is he and all the bartenders know me, and since you're coming in with me, they know not to serve us alcohol. Not that I drink anyway, but it stops the idea from going anywhere when it isn't an option. I'm surprised with Lynn's mom obviously not approving of them drinking that Oliver knows where a bar is, that he knows the owner of one and frequents it enough that the bartenders know who he is. Unbelievable. But the guy at the door greets him by name and lets us in like it's no big deal. I follow Oliver into the bar and start to wonder when I'm going to wake up because none of this makes sense. The guy working the bar is a couple inches shorter than me with curly orange hair mostly covered by his flat cap. Ollie, I didn't know you were coming tonight. The bartender reaches over the bar to give Oliver a fist bump. Hey, Uncle Zach, I didn't know you would be working tonight or I would have let you know. Uncle? This guy Zach maybe weighs 140 pounds soaking wet and doesn't even come up to Oliver's shoulders. There's no way they're related. More like you've had reconsidered coming tonight and kept me from meeting this lovely lady. The bartender grins. Now act like you have manners and introduce us. Oliver rolls his eyes at the guy's antics. Zach, this is my friend, Kaylee. Kaylee, this is the owner of the bar and the official ginger man, Zach. Nice to meet you. I return the fist bump Zach offers. The pleasure is all mine. Now, can you tell me what a pretty girl like you is doing with a dork like Oliver? Can we skip the questions and get something to drink, please? Oliver gives Zach a pleading look. Fine, fine. I'll have to get the information from my favorite niece then. If you must. Can I have a Dr. Pepper? Coming up, Zach nods. And for the lady? Coke's fine, I say. Zach gives us our drink, then Oliver leads me away and out onto the back patio. There's a stage out where a band's setting up, and a giant open area I assume is for dancing, and various seating options around the outer edge of the area. Everything's enclosed by a privacy fence, so you'd have to go through the bar to get back here. So your surprise date is at a bar your uncle owns? Well, sort of. The best part is yet to come. Oliver leads me to a table just off the front of the stage. Is Zach married to your aunt or something? Oliver lets out a short laugh. No, Zach isn't married. Then how is he your uncle? There's no way you're related. He's Mama Kingston's best friend, making him a pseudo-uncle to Lynn and her brothers. That sort of encompasses the nights as well, with how much time we spend with Lynn's family growing up. Oliver's smile from his laughter still lingers. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. It doesn't really, but it makes more sense than Oliver sharing DNA with a guy. Everything else about it is weird. But on to why we're here, he said. There's an up-and-coming all-female rock band playing tonight. I figured you'd rather see them in concert than go to dinner and a movie. Really? That's cool. They're playing here, though. This place looks a lot more like folk music than rock and roll. I'd more expect a guy with a banjo to be playing on the stage. Yeah, Zach listens to all kinds of music, so he has all types of bands play here. The band takes the stage and introduces themselves before beginning what is a pretty killer set. This is definitely better than dinner and a movie and the best date I've ever been on.